What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Royal Rumble 2025 review. Now, I'm going to try and leave this as uncut as possible. It is now 20 past 5. I just kind of want to get this done, get this out. And I also think leaving it uncut kind of gives my best sort of raw and most honest reactions here. So we're just going to crack on with it. We're going to start off and discuss the Royal Rumble. So let's just crack on with it. Let's just go match by match, and the card opened with the Women's Royal Rumble. So the match began with Io Sky and Liv Morgan at 1 and 2, and Roxanne Perez came in at 3. I've just got the running order of it here. I think these two were a brilliant start to the match, and then Roxanne Perez, not to get ahead of ourselves, Roxanne Perez went from 3 all the way to the runner-up in the Rumble. They've got a big year planned for Roxanne. I've seen a lot of people saying, is she going to come to the main roster anytime soon? I don't think so. I think she's going to stay in NXT. I think she's going to put Cora Jade over, and then she's going to come up to the main roster. I'm really surprised that she didn't eliminate Bayley. I thought that felt nailed on, but overall, I think Roxanne put in a really, really solid performance here. I think the Women's Rumble, for the most part, was really good. I think both Rumbles faltered at the end for me. One much more so than the other. But the Women's Rumble, I really did enjoy throughout the match. We had both of our mid-card champions. We had Chelsea Green in there. We had Lyra Valkyria in there as well. Chelsea's just incredible. Chelsea's so much fun. And going from, setting the record for the shortest time in the women's match to then going and having just a fun performance, but just being Chelsea Green, waiting for Piper to come in, finally getting Piper to back her up was a great moment. I think Chelsea's incredible and has really shown just a lot of growth every single year. Like every single year I think, how can Chelsea Green get better? And she just keeps doing it. Throughout the middle of the match then, we got just kind of standard Rumble stuff. Some people coming in, we got names like Bayley, Bianca Belair, Lash Legend from NXT came up. I thought she was really, really good. We got the Transphobe from NXT. No, thank you. And then we got my pick to win the Rumble. Now, I definitely was a big swing to say that I thought this person was going to win the Rumble, but I think a lot of criticisms of WWE in the Triple H era is the sort of long-term storytelling kind of robs us of any unpredictability. And I think when you look at the state of the Raw Women's Division and how the main prize for the Women's Division for the majority of the year wasn't the Women's World Championship, but was actually Dominic Mysterio. There's a lot of rehabilitation to be done in that division, and I think running Rhea and Bianca is a great idea. I think running Rhea and Io is a great idea. But for me, the one thing that would have spiced up the division the most is having Jordynne Grace come in, debut, win the Rumble, and set her sights on Rhea. I think that's a way to freshen up the Rumble. We've been having these criticisms of WWE in the Triple H era that there's not really any unpredictability anymore. So you have Jordynne Grace come in, win the Rumble, and do that. So she didn't win the Rumble, as you probably know, but she looked unbelievable. She looked incredible. Then 2 spots later, we got another big reveal, another big entrance. The return of Alexa Bliss, who'd been out for 2 years, I believe, to an absolutely fucking thunderous pop. Now, I don't know what they're going to be doing with Alexa Bliss. I'm unsure as to where she slots in. Does she join the Wyatt Six? Because I was thinking this. What do the Wyatt Six do out with the you betrayed your family sort of thing? Because eventually you run out of people to feud with at that point. And they are in a professional wrestling company. They should be chasing gold. I'm very interested in seeing, Bliss and Cross do something maybe in that women's tag division. I'm excited to see them maybe do something in the women's division. But even if she doesn't slot in with the Wyatt Six, I still think there is a lot of money to be made with Alexa Bliss. And you heard that reception for her last night. It is absolutely true there's a lot of money to be made in Alexa Bliss. I think she looked great, especially coming back to the ring after 2 years, and I'm very excited to see her back. Down towards the end of the match as well, we got the return of Charlotte Flair, the eventual winner. Towards the end of the match then, we got the 2 biggest stars from the NXT Women's Division in the soon-to-be NXT Women's North American Champion in Stephanie Vaquer and the NXT Women's Champion in Julia. And I think as well, both of them in the Rumble and both of them getting such good pops and getting such good showings kind of, to me, solidifies what I've been saying, that Jordynne Grace shouldn't be going to NXT. The fact of the matter is, when they introduced the Women's North American Championship, that was very much seen as the NIL, like your Kalani Jordans and all the sort of people kind of lower in the card. And those sort of college athletes who came to the Performance Center. People like that. A lot of the build around this North American Women's Championship has been with these sort of athletes turned pro wrestlers, and this is the sort of, we're building these people up and we're seeing their growth belt. The same way that the North American Championship became the big man belt for a while, which was just a great period of grabs. But when you bring in Julia and Stephanie Vaquer and they're both over so instantly, so immediately, they've immediately pivoted to a point where we're definitely getting Stephanie Vaquer with that Women's North American Championship soon. So when you have the 2 biggest stars in NXT will be holding both of those belts, what does Jordynne Grace do in that division? nothing. Which again, seeing both of them in the Rumble as well really solidified that Jordynne Grace should not be going to NXT. And I know I said it earlier, but God almighty, Jordynne Grace looked amazing. She finished with, let me find out. Oh, just the one elimination. She was eliminated by Julia though, and the possibility of that match moves me considerably. Then as we got down to the 30th entrant in the match, we were like, who is it going to be? It's someone that's not been announced. WWE, like, Becky's re-sign is going to be Becky. WWE been teasing AJ Lee. They've been mentioning her on socials and on TV, and people are name dropping her and everywhere. It's going to be AJ Lee or Becky. It was Nikki Bella. And after the match, it then cuts to people sitting in seats who are they're facing the ramp, which is weird. Like, why are you in a booth facing the stage and the entrance way? I don't get that. But it cut to them, looking like side on with it, and it cuts to them watching Nikki Bella's entrance, and Michael Cole's like, the people love it, Nikki Bella's back, and everyone's there like, oh, okay, cool, Nikki Bella's here, I guess. I mean, I'm happy to see Nikki Bella back. I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of Nikki Bella being back. I just think and I understand it's on us getting our hopes up for it to be AJ Lee, but when WWE are leaning into it as heavily as this, they can't expect us to not expect that. You can't continue to tease that and not see and then have the fans be annoyed when it's not followed through. Also, I've just seen here as well, I completely forgot, Nikki Bella was not the only Hall of Famer in the match. We got Trish Stratus back in, who got a thunderous pop, and Nikki Bella walked out to crickets. But the match did end then with Charlotte Flair throwing out Roxanne Perez to punch her ticket to yet another WrestleMania and Championship 47 or whatever the fuck it is. And I'm not entirely opposed to this. I think there are matches I would rather see be done. I still think there is a way where we can run Jordynne Grace and Rhea Ripley at Mania. I don't think that having Charlotte win is necessarily a bad idea, like I've seen a lot of people complaining about. And to be fair, a couple of years ago I absolutely would have said this. I was kind of completely over Charlotte until the Mania 39 match with Rhea, and I remember that when she wants to go and when she's hooping, she is like one of the best ever. And when I looked at the two champions, I don't have a massive want to see Charlotte Rhea 3, but I am incredibly moved by the prospect of Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. So, as much as there are a few people I would have maybe preferred to win, and if looking at the state of things, I think maybe should have won over her, I don't think she is a bad winner. Which, as well, I've seen people be like, I thought Charlotte was a bad winner until later on. Even at the time, I was like, no, I like this because it sets up Stratton. And a couple hours later, this was already the best Rumble of all time a couple hours later. But we'll get to that, because up next then was the 2 out of 3 falls match, DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns for those tag team championships. And if you know me, you know how I feel about the Motor City Machine Guns. That was a long fucking roundabout way to get to this. But, Wade Barrett continues to refer to them as your favourite tag team's favourite tag team. They are. Their mark on modern day American tag team wrestling is undeniable. Genuinely undeniable. You look at every team in modern Western professional wrestling tag teams, they are all doing something that they have taken from the Motor City Machine Guns. And I think this match was the showing that they deserved. I do wish they'd have gone over. Triple H making Alex Shelley take both of the pins is heinous. Possibly the worst booking decision he made all night. But I do think having them go out there with DIY, a team who, especially Gargano is so influenced by Alex Shelley, down to everything he does. Everything he does is the Gargano escape is the Border City stretch. Everything Gargano does is influenced by Shelley. And DIY as a team are heavily influenced by the Guns. And seeing them go at it and be fairly unrestricted and just be told, we start here, we end here, you go over, do your thing. It was very clear that they were just allowed to just go out and hoop. And I loved it. I think as well, the first fall with the fake tag, so, Gargano goes to tag in and Ciampa, pulls his hand away, so Shelley then gets distracted with the other one and then gets fucking nailed with a Ciampa knee to get pinned. Or maybe Ciampa goes to tag and Gargano takes his hand away. They do something like that. And then he gets nailed with a knee off Ciampa, and that's the first fall. And I'm always such a fan of winning a match without your finish, especially something like a knee to the side of the head. Ciampa's intensity is incredible. You wouldn't think this is a man who's had 3 neck surgeries in the past 5 years or whatever. The intensity that Tommaso Ciampa brings to every match is incredible. I was watching the match he had with Walter at TakeOver 36 earlier on today, and he's still just as good as he's ever been. He's still amazing, and him and Gargano have an unreal chemistry. And I think putting them across from in my opinion, the greatest tag team of all time, you just let them show that. The Guns were amazing. They won with Skull and Bones. They did their fucking super finish of the sit-out powerbomb and the super sliced bread. But then Gargano broke that pin up. And then the match ended with the Street Profits running some interference. Dawkins just breaking a fucking crutch over, I believe, Sabin's back. No, Shelley's back, actually, yeah, because Shelley took the pin. And now we've got heel Street Profits in this division, which is something I'm incredibly interested in. I think the Street Profits are a team I'm never ever going to be out on. I've always loved the Street Profits from day dot. But I think freshening them up and bringing them in and giving them a heel presentation is brilliant. And I think with both of them having grown so much as wrestlers over the years, letting them show a different side of themselves is going to be something I'm very interested in. This also sets up the possibility for the Pretty Deadly and DIY, for DIY to turn on Pretty Deadly. And it looks as though now the SmackDown Tag Division is going to be built around DIY, the Motorcycle Machine Guns, the Street Profits, and Pretty Deadly up the top end of that division, which I'm a massive, massive, massive fan of. Up next then was easily the match of the night. That was Kevin Owens, the real WWE Champion in this, well, not anymore, versus the fake WWE Champion Cody Rhodes in that ladder match. Now, one thing that really interested me going into this is the promo that Cody cut with Punk on Raw, and sort of insinuating that the WWE Championship is a poison chalice, and holding it for so long, is tainting Cody, and Cody's becoming the Mad King, going mad with power, trying to hold on to this. I think that's an incredibly interesting thing, and to actually see Cody sort of demonstrate heel tendencies and then follow that up in a match is something I didn't think he was physically fucking capable of after the end of his AEW run, wrestling like a heel and then cutting a white meat babyface promo. But I think seeing that being played out in this match was incredible, and I think both of these men just went hell for leather on one another. I think the two of them are incredible and deserving main eventers on that SmackDown show, but both of them just really, really went out there and gave it their all. Match started just fast, just going through tapes, going through ladders, beating each other, taking rungs off ladders, kicking them out to just beat each other across the back with. It was just devastating violence throughout the match. They let Kevin Owens run the blade, but I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think he needed to, because by the end of the match he was fucked up. There was a line going across his head, and I couldn't work out if it was blood kind of trickling, but they left the camera lingering on him for a while, and it looks like Kevin Owens got a legit fucking laceration from something, probably the finish of the match, just right across his forehead. It was violent, it was nasty, it was brutal, and it was glorious professional wrestling violence, which is one of my favourite things in the world. I think the feud that these two have had has been incredible, and I've been saying on Twitter that Kevin Owens is obviously the real world champion, because think about it, right? Cody Rhodes is the undisputed WWE champion. It is disputed. There is a World Heavyweight Championship on the other show. Kevin Owens is the Winged Eagle WWE champion. There's a Winged Eagle on that bitch. But I think, you put Kevin Owens in a big match, you put Kevin Owens in a big match with lots of plunder, he's going to take some insane bumps, as he always does. I've seen this man take back bumps onto ladders that are down and on their side, pointing up the way too many times. They never get easier. But him and Cody, like I said, they just went out and tore the fucking bones off each other. They were incredible. There was, big spot after big spot after big spot. And again, like I say, just glorious professional wrestling violence. Towards the end of the match then, Kevin hits a big stinking fisherman buster off the top rope onto the ladder, protects Cody as much as he can, and fucks himself up, just lands neck on the ladder, which then leads to Sammy coming out to kind of check on both men who are his friends. And I really like the finish to this match. Sammy's there kind of, I want to protect my friends, I want to make sure my friends are okay. There's this ladder bridge that's been set up on the announce table as well, and Sammy's going back and forth between the two of them, and then they start fighting again. Kevin looks like he's going to do a package pile driver through a ladder bridge. Cody picks him up, Alabama slam for just one of the nastiest bumps I've ever seen Kevin Owens take, which says a lot. And then Cody goes in to the back end of the ring and grabs both championships, before then coming back to gloat over the broken, battered and bloody body of Kevin Owens, holding both titles aloft. He has gone mad with power, and I'm very excited to see where this leads. I think Sammy's involvement as well, it set up something that could have been really interesting for this. I say with Sammy coming out, there is an interesting story to be told there, which they ended up actually not doing, but I do think this would have been something interesting to do, because Kevin is making it his life's mission to ruin the lives of everyone who ever forgave Roman Reigns, but he's allowing Sammy because that's his best friend. the idea that Sami was then early in the Rumble and goes out quick, and when Kevin says, you didn't stop Cody from winning, and Sami says, I stopped myself preparing for the Royal Rumble to go and headline WrestleMania, to look after you, and it cost me my shot at the WrestleMania main event, for Kevin to say, but you still didn't help me. The money is there, it was staring us right in the face, and they didn't fucking do it. But overall, this match was incredible. Like I say, it's a phrase I say so much. Glorious professional wrestling violence. We then go to the men's Royal Rumble, which I'm sure if you've watched it or if you even just opened Twitter, you will know this was a generational Royal Rumble until the end. We started off with Rey Mysterio and Penta. Then we got Chad Gable, Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, Otis, and Braun Breaker. Just an incredible start to the match, just throwing in just name after name, people that everyone is invested in. Carmelo Hayes, first man out of the Rumble. What are we fucking doing? But it then led to my second least favourite spot in that match, which was Carmelo Hayes going out first, led to one of my favourite spots in that match. As he's walking up the ramp, Tozawa's number gets called. Tozawa's celebrating on the ramp, gets jumped from behind by Mello. So they take him back, the camera follows him back, and then Triple H goes, we need someone in the Rumble, we can't have 29 men. And I Show Speed is in the background talking to Stephanie, still also on a stream. He's like, Speed, you're in the Rumble. Speed's like, why can't I go in the Rumble? He's like, go in, you're in the Rumble. Speed then goes into the Rumble in his Yeezy foam runners, comes in, helps eliminate Otis with Braun Breaker, hits a Sue, backflips, eats the nastiest spear of all time of Braun Breaker, gets military pressed to the outside, gets caught by Otis, who then just overhead, kind of just throws him over his head over the announce table and to the floor to die. And it was just, it's incredible. That's how you do celebrity spots in the Rumble. And I've seen people be like, oh, he's not a celebrity, he's a streamer. He got one of the biggest pops of the night. Everyone knows who Speed is. Just because he's not, like in a metal band, because wrestling used to be about rock and metal, doesn't mean he shouldn't be there. I thought it was a great spot, and I really, really enjoyed Speed's involvement in the Royal Rumble. We then got some other names coming in, including Sheamus and Jacob Fatu. Getting to see both of them square up just moved me in a considerable way, and it's very upsetting to know that they are on different brands. But then at 15, one of the biggest stories of the night, we got the WWE debut of the TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry. The place went fucking crazy for Joe Hendry. People say, Joe Hendry's, a one-trick pony, he's not going to be over. 65,000 people, they kept saying 70,000, so let's just say, for argument's sake, 67,500 people. I believe in Joe Hendry. The place was going nuts. He gets in there, hits his fall-away slam, kips up, starts doing the stomp, clap for the standing ovation. Sheamus is in the corner, loving it. Then hits the standing ovation on Miz, which Michael Cole just calls an elevated slam. That's his finish, you dusty old bitch. And then up next, and then after Joe Hendry at 15, was Roman Reigns at 16, and we got a Roman Reigns and Joe Hendry interaction in the Royal Rumble. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about for me. Had a few more entrants then coming through, including Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor with a new song, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jey Uso, the eventual winner, which we will get to. AJ Styles coming back to his original WWE song, which I'm very happy about. Braun Strowman also coming out on those cooked old knees to run it back with Jacob Fatu. I believe he eliminated Jacob Fatu, and I have no interest in seeing them run it back, so I don't know why you do that. But it was fun seeing them run it back, just two big men throwing big men moves at each other. I love Jacob Fatu. It's also worth noting that Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, and Roman Reigns all tied for the most eliminations with 4 each, combining for 12 between the 3 of them. Definitely right move for 2 of those guys. I understand why you do it with Roman as well. It's Roman, but Fatu and Breaker definitely should have been up there for eliminations, and it's good to see that they got that at this year's Rumble. We then got the last time we'll ever see John Cena in the Royal Rumble match, looking to win his 3rd and tie Stone Cold. He comes in the ring, aura off with Roman Reigns, Punk's music hits, the 3 of them square up to each other, Seth's music hits, the 4 of them square up to each other, hands, baby, hands. I was off my fucking seat. And then next was Dirty Dom. First thing he did is hit a frog splash on John Cena. That's my goal. 27 we had Sammy, 28 we had Damian Priest, 29 we had LA Knight, and then at 30 we had Logan Paul. After this, kind of fairly standard, Drew was eliminated kind of unceremoniously after spending all this time going after, again, everyone who's forgiven Roman, to be eliminated by a guy on a different show, and Damian Priest, and apparently the spot was fucked up, and Drew was actually really angry about that. Speaking of spots getting fucked up, Cena AA'd Finn Balor off the apron, Braun Strowman did not catch Finn Balor. Finn Balor landed on his head, and then Braun Strowman, instead of checking on Finn, just walks away like, fuck! Instead of being like, hey brother, you okay? You okay, friend? But yeah, it was good. It was a great Rumble. We then get down to the final 6 of John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso and Logan Paul. 2 of these things are not like the others. Roman and Seth obviously go for each other's throats because they will never forgive each other. Punk dumps them both out. Logan Paul also got the Kofi Hope spot and eliminated AJ Styles after doing it, and then eliminated CM Punk after Punk eliminated Rollins and Reigns. Which then we got probably the most interesting bit of the Rumble after the 3 of them had been eliminated. Just the 3 of them having a brawl on the floor. Seth did a 2-footed curb stomp into the back of Roman's head. That shit was personal. And then there's a big pull apart brawl with all of them involved. The 3 of them are there's big sort of hype being put on that, whilst Logan and Cena and Jey Uso all catch their breath and go into the final 5 minutes, where nothing really incredibly interesting happens. Logan Paul gets thrown out. Jey Uso and John Cena go on the apron. Cena, they're kind of doing the, are we going to fall? And then Cena picks him up for an A. Uso falls over the top rope and just kicks him off, and Cena just kind of falls off. And Jey Uso is going to main event WrestleMania. And look, I understand that the people love Jey Uso. I understand that he sells a lot of merch and the yeet and all this. First of all, if that kid in the front row at Money in the Bank wasn't doing this when he was fucking at Money in the Bank in London last year, if that kid there wasn't doing that and he didn't see it and steal it, he is not in this position. The yeet thing, it shouldn't be over. We've taken one of the best and most intriguing promos and whittled him down to yeet, and he's bad in the ring. I don't. Last night, I was really deflated when he won. And I think about it more today, and now I'm actually annoyed at it, because it's not the right call, even a little bit. The only semi-interesting option for a Jey Uso WrestleMania main event is if Kevin won the championship off of Cody, and then we go for a Bloodline member versus the man who is trying to kill anyone who ever wants to associate with Roman Reigns in the year 2025. That is the only interesting move for him. His story with Gunther should have been finished at Saturday night's main event. Jey Uso's ceiling was being given there you go man, you finally won a singles championship IC title, and then he lost it again, which was the right call. Yeah, he sells a lot of t-shirts. Yeah, he's over. I'm going to be completely honest. Without this, he is just... In fact, I'm going to be completely honest. Even with this, people just do it because you're in the arena and everyone's doing it. At his peak of his popularity, he is no more over than LA Knight was in 2023. And if that is the case, if he's been given a WrestleMania main event because of that, how the fuck must LA Knight feel when he's a good promo and good in the ring? Went from one of the best Rumble matches of all time to an all-time shitter in 5 minutes. Don't get me wrong, almost everything else that was set up throughout this match, I'm very interested in. I'm really interested in seeing what the Punk, Seth, Roman thing is. I'm very, very interested to see what Kevin does, probably something with Sami going into Mania. I'm really interested to see what Cena does now, what he said at the press conference, saying I'm not going to field any questions, I'm just going to cook. And said I will be in the Elimination Chamber and I'm going to main event WrestleMania because that is what's best for business. Cook that fucking fraud. And say I'm going to take a month off because I'm filming a movie, and when I come back everyone can have a month to speak on my name without any retort, because when I come back they're done. Unbelievable. How do you not have John Cena win this, or how do you not have CM Punk win this? Run back what they did with Cody and Rock, and then actually just not have Jey Uso do it. Have Jey Uso wrestle Gunther at Backlash, and then have him be squashed. It was such a good match until then. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on this year's Royal Rumble. Like I said, I'm going to keep this as uncut as possible. Just cut out all of my pauses and things I've had to kind of run away and do. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the show. But it's one of those things, if the last thing that we see is dog shit, then it kind of taints the whole perception of the show, and the last thing we saw was dog shit, so it's tainted the whole perception of the show. The Women's Rumble was good. I'm excited with Charlotte and going against Tiff. The Motor City Machine Guns now going against the heel Street Profits. I'm very intrigued by. Heel Cody is something I've been screaming for. This is Cody's first heel run, or this will be Cody's first heel run since Ring of Honor. Proper heel run where he's admitting he's a heel since Ring of Honor. And like I say, almost everything else set up in the Men's Rumble was great. But yeah, it ended on a wet fart, baby. So, those are my thoughts on the Royal Rumble, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Show this to your mates and go look at this handsome man with good wrestling opinions. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.